CDP policy. Then configure a policy group. Associate the AAEP. Interface profile. Well, then leaf switch profile. Done. Let's say production one tenant. VRF1. BD1. Under this BD, I will define my subnets 20.0.0.254/8 and 30.0.0.254/8. Then I will define here application profile 1. Under this application profile, I will create the EPG. EPG must be associated with the BD. And let me associate my physical domain. I will associate, okay, let's say endpoint also. 1/23 is my endpoint belonging to VLAN 350, deploy immediate, access untagged, submit. One zero two 23 350. Okay, done. One thing is missed right now. Let me just do that one also. Hundred MB link level policy. Port 23 where my endpoints are connected, and these are associated with this 100 MB policy group. Under my leaf switch profile, this is my endpoint. Admin, admin, ping 20.0.0.254. It's pinging. Ping 30.0.0.254. Pinging. Ping 30.1. Pinging. So my endpoints are working fine. Now let's move to the L3 out. So for L3 out, your first step under the access policy, you had to create a L3 out domain, external routed domain. So L3 out domain. You can give any name, no issues. Associate with the AAP, associate with the VLAN pool. Then under the logical configuration in the networking, external routed network, let's say L3 out OSPF, select the OSPF protocol. What is the area ID? It's a regular area. Okay. My VRF is VRF1. External routed domain, just now I have created. Then node and interface profile. Let's say node 102. Say 2.2.2.2 is my router ID. OSPF interface profile. Next. Here you have to create a OSPF policy. Broadcast. No need to change the timers. Next. Routed interface. It is connected on leaf 102, port number 1/12, and IP address should be 12.0.0.1/8, and MTU should be 1500. Okay. Click on OK. Click on OK. Next. OSPF external EPG. Whenever you are going to configure the L3 out or L2 out, this configuration like external EPG will create, which contain the external routes. Here I am putting 0.0.0.0. You can put here like 50, 60, and 70 also. No issues. Now, here, if you see export route control subnet, export route control subnet option will be used when you are doing the transit routing. Currently, I'm just verifying my L3 route is working fine or not. So I'm using this option. Okay. Click on OK. OK, and finish. Let's verify that thing with R2. Show IP OSPF neighbor. Can I ping 12.0.1? Yes, ping is working. So maybe it is taking time. Okay. Yeah, It's working fine. So in the meanwhile, my neighborship is formed. I will do rest of the other stuff. My BD subnet, they are private to VRF. It must be advertised externally so that they can reach also to the external router. Fine. Under the BD1, L3 out configuration, whatever L3 out you have configured, you have to associate that one here. Okay. I need one contract also. Let's say test contract, scope VRF, no issues. Filter protocol, I'm choosing, let's say default common. My contract is ready. Under my app EPG, I will provide that contract. And under my external EPG network, I will consume it here. If I go to my endpoint, which is R7 ping, okay, let's verify from R8 first. Ping 30.0.0.254, the gateway is reachable. Ping 12.0.0.1, my external IP address is reachable. Ping 12.2 is reachable. I'm able to reach to the external router R2. Ping 50.0.1, able to reach. Okay. 60, able to reach. 70, able to reach. Right. Yesterday, this ping is not working. I haven't done any new stuff. Same step I have performed today. Okay. Just today is the lucky day. This lab performed. Okay. But if I check from my another endpoint, ping, let's say 50.0.1, this is not working. What is happening right now in this scenario? Understand carefully, guys. Find 201. I hope you are good into the BGP. Yes, guys. BGP protocol. Hello. Guys,
Yes, Rakesh.
how much you are good into the BGP protocol?
I have a basic understanding of BGP.
I need only the basic understanding.
Yeah.
Under my BD, I have defined 254, 30.0.0.254. Okay. So here I have configured L3 out OSPF. Okay. My L3 out is working fine. Remember that within this ACI fabric now, there is a MP BGP is also running. Okay, giving a basic BGP scenario. R1 connected with R2, connected with R3. Here we have network 10, 20, 30. If they belongs to the same AS 100, can R1 receive the 30 route? Can R1 receive this 30 route, or R3 will receive the 10 route? Anyone? No, they will not receive, because in this scenario, this is the IBGP scenario. And under this IBGP, there is a default split horizon rule. But that rule is telling all these R1, R2, R3, they are the IBGP neighbor. They can send the update to the next IBGP peer, but R2 will not send that update. Similar way, R1 sent their routing update to R2, but R2 will not send the update to R3. This is because of the split horizon rule into the BGP. This is the default behavior. To avoid that situation, what we are doing, we are configuring the route reflector. Getting my point? This scenario is clear, guys? Anyone? Any question? See also, guys, right now. What is happening right now? These routes are OSPF routes. These OSPF route reach here on the leaf 102. Okay, and I have make a contract between them also. This comes under external OSPF EPG. They are under app EPG. Okay, I have make a contract between them. So currently, this is what my provider and this is my consumer. So these route 50, 60, and 70, they reach here. Okay, so that's why this endpoint forwarding the traffic to the leaf is having the gateway, and it is also know how to reach the 50, 60, and 70. But due to this scenario now, these routes automatically redistribute into the BGP. So they become the BGP route. These route reach here, but this spine is not forwarding the routes here. So in this situation, you have to make the spine as a route reflector. So in the production environment, whatever spine we have to configure them as a route reflector. So for the route reflector, what you have to do in the system tab, system settings, BGP route reflector policy. If you see, AS number is already defined here. You have to define the node ID of your spine. That's it. Okay, this is my route reflector policy. Now we have to apply this policy. This is the fabric wide policy. So under the fabric policy, firstly create a policy group. Code 1 policy group. You can give any name, no issues. And in this, associate your policy, BGP policy. Call this policy group into your code profile. So once you define that thing, then your spine will behave as a route reflector, and now it should communicate. Clear my point? All these steps are clear, guys?
Yeah, thank you.
Now, so my OSPF is working fine. Now let's come to the BGP. So On R1 we have 80, 90 and 100 routes. Okay, dot 2 is there, dot 1 is there, and here we have 11 IP subnet. Here we have to configure L3 out BGP. Okay, so what I'm going to put, this particular router is already configured under the AS200. I will configure this particular one under AS100. Getting my point? Topology clear, guys?
Yes.
Okay.
That's clear.
Now, so for BGP L3 out, first step is the same. You should have a L3 out domain, which I have already. I will use that one. Okay. Then I have to create another L3 out. Okay. So right click, create a routed outside. This time I'm going to create L3 BGP. Select the VRF, external routed domain. No. Node and interface profile. So node 101. Node is 101. ID, let's say 1010. Click on OK. Peer connectivity profile. Address 11.0.0.2/8. eBGP multi-hop, let's say 5. Remote AS will be 200 and local AS will be 100. BGP already configured on my R1 router. Okay. Then interface profile. Next. There is no BGP authentication, so I can go next. It is connected on leaf 101 on the interface 1/12, IP address 11.0.0.1, MTU should be 1500. Okay, click on OK, click on OK. Next. So BGP external EPG. Subnet, again I am putting 0.0.0/0. External subnet for external EPG. Okay, finish. Then my subnets are already advertised externally. Okay. Then under my BD policy L3 configuration, we have to associate our BGP also. Then contract we already created. Let's consume it here also. After that, if I log in here on my endpoint, ping 80.0.1, I'm able to reach from R7, ping 80.0.1 able to reach from R8 also. So both the endpoints are working with the BGP as well as with the OSPF. Getting my point?
Yeah.
Okay. The same contract I have created here. Right. I apply here. Okay. And this is what? Again, consumer. Okay. This, whatever I have done till now, that is just a L3 out scenario, guys. Meaning my endpoint 1 and endpoint 2 should reach to the external routers, external network. Done. Okay. This is L3 out. Now, one step ahead, transit routing. Currently, what is happening under my routing table here, this is my BD, the local subnet, but it is internally creating the routing table also. Under that routing table, it is having 50, 60, and 70 routes, which comes via OSPF. We have 80, 90, and 100 routes, which comes via BGP. These routes present where? Under my ACI. That's why the ACI endpoints are able to communicate here. Okay. If I discuss one more thing with you that I already discussed, but let me just give a recap of that also. So you will get better understanding. There is one diagram. Where is that one? This one. If you focus here, when the endpoint is sending the traffic, firstly the traffic is coming to the leaf. Okay. Leaf is checking what? Does leaf destination IP address endpoint? Knows the destination IP address endpoint. When the endpoint 1 is sending the traffic, endpoint 1 is having the IP address 20.0.1. Okay. Now it check in the BD first. Okay. Or you can say in the LST, do I have that information? No, because that belongs outside network. So it checked that thing. Does leaf BD subnet for the destination IP address? No. We are going to communicate 80 subnet, but 80 is not defined under my BD. Okay. So if it is not present, then what it will do? Does leaf have an external route for the destination IP address? Yes. Why? Because my L3 out is working fine, and that external route 80, 90, 100, 50, 60, and 70, those are my external route. My routing is working fine. That's why those routes are coming in my routing table. If yes, then forward to the egress leaf as per the routing table. Getting my point?
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Now, what is my agenda? If I'm on R1, let's say I'm on this side on R2. If I try to ping from here, ping 80.0.0.1, can I ping? Can I ping, guys? 80?
Right now you shouldn't be able to.
You are here. Can you ping 80 subnet, which is present here?
You shouldn't be able to.
Sorry?
You shouldn't be able to.
Correct. Why? Because I don't have the routing information here. If I go to my R2, R2 is my 76. If I run here, show IP route, I have only 20 and 30, which is my ACI routes, but I don't have any information about 80. So I can't forward that route. Okay, I can't forward the traffic on that particular destination, right? So if you want to achieve that task, then you have to do what? You have to do transit routing. So in the transit routing, what you have, these routes are already in my ACI fabric. So what you have to tell, okay, you can go to this domain. Sorry, they're coming from that only. You can tell, go to this domain and go to this domain, because this router is not having 50, 60 and 70. This is not having 80, 90 and 20. Sorry, 80, 90 and 100, right? So for that, no need to do anything extra right now. Into the L3 out only, we have, let's say this. Under this external EPG, we have defined that thing external subnet for external EPG. Okay. Choose this option, export route control subnet. So what it is doing, it will be exporting those subnet to the external world. Getting my point? Same thing here, let's say. Let's see now. Show IP route on R1. Still we don't have route here. And R6, show IP route SPF. Still there is no route here. Okay. Here we have only 20 and 30, and here we have 20 and 30. Routes are not exported. Okay. Let's see. Let's put this aggregate export also. Okay. See here. 80, 19 and 100 routes are coming. So routes are mutually exchanged right now. Clear my point? Yes, guys.
Oh, yes. Okay.
So this is BGP, this is OSPF. So R1 and R2, they are exchanging their route. Okay. Now, what is the meaning of all these options? Let me tell you that thing first. Export route control subnet, that means you are telling that thing, those routes which you have learned from any L3 out. Let's say you have learned 50, 60 and 70 route from R2, you are telling that thing export route control subnet, meaning is that that route is eligible to go outside. Outside meaning is can go to another L3 out, which is BGP L3 out. Okay. Next, I have choose this option aggregate export. I have chosen this option. Why? Because when I'm creating that subnets now, like in the L3 out, I put 0.0.0.0/0 subnet for this subnet, right? That's why I choose this option. Otherwise, this is not required. Okay. If you see here, import route control subnet is not highlighted. Yesterday, I have told you, if you want to use this option, then in the L3 out, you have to check box on the option import. Now, what is the use case scenario of import and export? Let's say if you see here, where is that? Huh. Let me just minimize the extra window. Currently, if you see, all the routes are exchanged. Okay, but maybe that R2 contain 1000 routes. So it will be not like that. No, R1 need those 1000 routes. Maybe it need only 10 routes, right? So at that time you can play with the import and export. Okay, so you can put individually, let's say 50.0.0.0, you can put import, put checkbox on an import, so that it will come into the ACI, and put the checkbox on the export also, so that that 50 can go outside. Maybe there are some networks which you want to receive only the ACI fabric, don't checkbox on the export. Okay, so it is simply like, okay, which you want to receive in the ACI fabric and which you want to send into the outside the ACI fabric. So that is the play with the import and export. Now, but I have the route, can I communicate? Let's say 80.0.0.1. Now who will tell that thing? What is the issue now? Anyone? I have the routes, but still I am not able to communicate. Anyone? Giving you a hint. See the topology carefully. Check from where to where you are going to communicate. The answer is in this particular drawing.
The connection was from where to where? If I may ask again, maybe I missed that.
You are here on R2, you are going to communicate to 80 network.
Network, okay.
My L3 out is working fine. My transit routing is working fine. Sorry, do we
need the contract for that?
Correct. If you see here, this is also a consumer. This is also a consumer. Consumer to consumer, there is no communication. So you will go to your ACI. Let's say this EPG contract. If I provide the same contract as a provide also, oh sorry, here. It should communicate now, right? So this is your lab for transit routing, guys. Any confusion? And this is your discovery number 5.
Did you say 5 or 4?
Sorry? Hello? I'm not getting your voice completely.
Did you say 5 or 4?
5 or 4?
Which lab?
We did 5.
This is the discovery 5, transit routing discovery 5. And like in the lab they are doing with the VMM integration. I have done with the physical endpoint. Okay.
Oh, okay.
See, In ACI, na, like if I say clearly, like in simple thing, if you learn the ACI from 5 different person, they will teach you 5 different methods. Okay. And in first time, it is difficult, really difficult to digest the ACI. Okay. How you can learn the ACI? The basic fundamental is you should know the relationship between each configuration, and best way to learn the ACI is, let's say in this there are n number of steps. I can't remember all the steps, right? So what you can do, firstly you just write down all the things in a simple sentence, right? You have to create VLAN pool, you have to create the domain associated with the VLAN pool. So write down all these things into the paper. Once you get that flow now, then no need to check the steps in any of the lab guide. Getting my point? You will get difficulty until and unless you are not getting the relationship between each configuration. Okay? All good till now?
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Guys, do one thing. Initialize your discovery number 6. Discovery number 6. Just initialize that one and let me know. Implementing VRF route leaking we are doing after that. Once it initialized, let me know.
Mine is initializing.
Begin.
Yeah, mine is starting. It's initializing devices.
Okay. Cool. Next option is using tenant common for the shared services. Okay. Tenant. You know very well, by default, there are 3 tenants: common, infra, and management. Management tenant is for out of band and in band management of ACI fabric. Infra for internal communication of ACI fabric. Common is for basically used as a shared services. Shared services. Now, what is the meaning of this? Let's suppose you have a tenant production one. Okay, you have a VRF, PD, app profile, and here EPG, and that EPG is having endpoints. Cool. Now, let's take the previous example. We have configured the L3 out. Let's say on that L3 out, internet is working. Okay. So you have to do the route linking. Let's say if you have 10 customers, so you have to do route linking between all the customers, right? You have to exchange those routes. Another option is that, like, whatever common services you have, common service meaning is what? For example, like DHCP, for example, like DNS, for example, like internet. Okay. So let's take an example of internet. Okay. This is my common tenant. Under my common tenant, I will configure the L3 out, okay, which is having all these routes. So if they want to communicate, what I will do, let's say it can be tenant production 1, production 2, production 3, right? So what I will do, I will leak this route among all these tenants. So this is known as what? Shared services. And that can be done by the common tenant. Getting my point? So if there is a common service which you have to give to multiple tenants, then we are using the common tenant. And in the common tenant, we will put the common services like maybe L2 out or maybe DNS, DHCP, those kind of stuff. And through that, we are doing the route linking so that all the tenant, all the customer will get that particular route and they can also get that service. Getting my point?
That's clear.
Okay. So here they are going to explain the same thing. Like you have a common tenant, you have common VRF, common BD. Okay. And for the customer, we have tenant 1, tenant 2. Okay. VRF1, BD1, all these kind of stuff. Then sharing the common VRF. Okay. Tenant common, and we can exchange that routes. Share the common services. This example just now I have given to you. Okay. You have tenant 1, tenant 2, and in the common tenant, you are going to configure the L3 out, like DNS, NTP, shared storage, internet access. So via the common tenant, you are giving the internet access to the tenant 1 and tenant 2. Okay. Tenant 1, tenant 2. Okay. Using VRF route leaking for the shared services. So basically, in this particular concept, they are going to discuss a new concept which is known as inter-tenant communication. Now, inter-tenant communication. For example, I'm taking the same scenario. This is my R7. This is my R8. We have 20.0.1 and 30.0.0.1. Okay, but what I want this time, I will put this endpoint under tenant. What name we give? Let's say sales, and this particular tenant is, let's say, IT. Okay, two different tenant, completely different identity. So whatever you have learned the last week, DCACI, everything you have done within the same tenant, and till now we have done all the configuration within the same tenant. In one tenant we are doing all the configuration, right? But now if we have two endpoints which are under the two different tenant, then how we can communicate? Okay, so I'm just writing the bullet points here, and then I will show you this lab activity also. Okay, so here tenant sales, let's say VRF1, PD1, and application profile. Okay. And here let's say we have app EPG. Under that app EPG we have this endpoint. Getting my point? Under this tenant we have, let's say, VRF2, PD2, app profile, and let's say web EPG. Under the web EPG you have this particular. Any confusion in the topology, guys? Anyone?
The topology is clear.
Now, how you can achieve this task? So point number one. The endpoints are under the EPG. So you know that thing like, okay, if you want to communicate under the two different EPG, you need a contract, right? Okay. So now point number one. Configure physical and logical configuration for endpoint and verify communication. Okay, verify communication. The communication will not happen. Okay, then with respect to the inter-tenant communication, point number one. Create a contract on let's say sales and export. You have to create a contract and you have to export this contract to IT. Okay. Point number 2, make sales tenant as provider. Okay. Point number 3, on provider end, configure subnet under EPG. Point number 4, contract scope should be global. Point number 5, on consumer subnet can be under PD or EPG. No issues. Point number 6, on consumer consume contract as interface. So these will be the steps, guys, for inter-tenant communication. You can take the screenshot of this.
It's done.
Then, okay. So let's verify this thing. So I have already this particular scenario. Okay. What I will do, under my tenant production one, production one, under this app EPG, I will remove my endpoints. Okay. Here is my endpoints. Okay. I will create 2 tenants. Let's say sales, one more tenant, IT. Okay. Now I want to use sales as a provider. So let's do that configuration first. I can put here, let's say, sales VRF. Next,
Hello?
PD
You're off
sales.
again. Hello? Yes.
Yeah.
Kind
Question.
Ludwin back. He think he got disconnected.
Okay. Sorry, I haven't seen that one.
Yeah. Okay. You're back in.
Okay. So I have created a sales VRF. I have created a BD VRF. Creating application profile. Let's see. Sales app profile. Under that, I'm going to create a EPG, let's say sales EPG. EPG must be associated with the BD. Fine. Now, under this sales EPG, I will put my R7 as a endpoint. 1/23, let's say 360. Under this, right click, create EPG subnet. Let's say here I'm putting 20.0.0.254/24 and private to VRF. One point is missed, guys, here. Point number 7. Subnet scope should be shared between VRF. This option is basically for the route leaking, shared between the VRF. So subnet is here. I'm putting what? Shared between the VRF. Then let's go to the IT tenant. Under this IT, okay, VRF IT, PD IT, I'm going to make this IT as a consumer, so consumer can have the subnet into the BD, shared between the VRF. Then now again go to sales. Okay. So point number 1, we have to create a contract. Okay. Right click, create a contract under the sales. I'm putting contract sales to IT. This is the name of the contract. Contract scope should be global. Contract scope should be global. So guys, here there are 4 options. By default option is VRF. VRF meaning is that in that tenant you can communicate within the same VRF. Point number 2, tenant. If you have multiple tenants within the same tenant and you want to go communication between the 2 different VRF within the same tenant, then only you have to choose the option tenant. If you are going to communicate under the 2 different tenants, then you have to choose the option global. If you are going to communicate under the 2 different EPG, which is belonging to the 2 different application profile, then you can choose the option application profile also. In our case, we have to choose the option global. Okay. I'm choosing the default common option. My contract is ready. Firstly, apply that contract as a provider in your EPG. Provide contract. Then. And you have to export this contract to IT. So what will be the exported name? Sales to IT. This will be the exported name. What is the actual contract? The actual contract is this. To whom you want to export? I want to export to the IT. Any confusion, guys? Any confusion?
It's clear.
Submit. We have exported the contract. We provide the contract. Now let's go to our IT tenant. Under this IT, if I go to my contract, imported, you can see this contract reach here, right? So you will go to your EPG. I haven't created here any EPG. App profile 1. Let's say web EPG. EPG must be associated with the BD. Define the endpoint here. So endpoint is present on 102, interface 1/23, 360. And here, when you are consuming the contract, consume contract as a interface now. So you will get your contract, submit. That's it. If I try to communicate, see, R7 is under the sales. So ping 20.0.0.254. Firstly, I'm checking it is pinging to the gateway. It is pinging. R8 is under the IT. I'm pinging with the gateway ping 30.0.0.254. It is also pinging the gateway. Ping 30.0.1. Now I'm going to ping from sales to IT tenant, and it is also pinging. Let's try from here. Ping 20.0.0.1. Also going to communicate. Getting my point?
Yes.
Okay. Guys, do one thing. Everyone just put their email ID on the chat box once. Any Gmail ID, anything. I will share some document with you, like say the lab documents which I have created, like whatever lab I have shown you right now. L3 out, L2 out, inter-tenant communication. I have my own lab document I can share with you. Nicholas, your email ID? Nicholas? Nicholas, are you there? Okay. So all of you, I will put in one Google Drive link, okay, which is having certain good documents for ACI, okay, and for the data center also. Okay. I will put you on that group. One more thing, guys. One thing is still pending, like we haven't redeemed our courseware. Okay. Now. Take this screenshot. The point number 7 is missed last time. Take the screenshot. Once it's done, let me know.
It is done.
Done? Okay. Great. So, guys, before starting this training now, you have received one email from Cisco regarding the D kit. Okay. Open that email. Okay. So, Nicholas, Sam, login. ID. Sam, do you have any certification?
In Cisco?
In Cisco?
Yes, I do.
Which certification you have?
CCN collaboration.
CCNA. And this certification associated with your personal ID, personal email?
Yes.
Okay, great. Lordwin, do you have any Cisco certification?
Yes, please.
Which?
Data center, security, and enterprise.
Oh, great.
CCNK.
And you have that certification associated with your personal ID, personal email?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, guys. So, guys, what you have to do when you log in, when you see this D kit now, can anyone share that screen? Can anyone share that email? Share that email or share your screen. Okay, yeah, this email I am looking for. Yeah, Nicholas, the same email. Just share that one.
I've shared. Have you seen?
Yeah, I'm able to see. So what you have to do, you have to register your email ID, personal email ID on, click on this register, click on the first one, register, click on the register.
Okay.
Sam, when did you receive this email?
That was 5 days ago, 4th August.
It will be on that particular email which you shared with us.
So here, are you saying that I should use my personal email or the company?
No, personal email, which is associated with your certifications.
Okay.
Guys, everyone get this email? Already registered? Okay, so guys, okay, so everyone register this email, your personal email. Once it will be registered, then I haven't. Just second, Login. Lordwin, you will receive that thing on this particular email. Check. On your official email. Don't register your official email. Personal email ID you have to register.
Okay.
Why I'm telling? Because see, your certification associated with your personal email, right? This account already exists. So you can
Yeah.
recover the password now.
Or I can just log in.
Once you register with your personal email, then log in into the Cisco networking learning space.
I think I've been using the company ID, the company mail. Rakesh, are you able to see this?
Okay.
This is the email address I see here.
So log in with this email only.
Yeah.
Do you know the password of this, Sam?
Yes, I do. I have it.
Okay.
I'm even already logged in.
Okay. Click on my content. Click on my content there.
My content.
On top, yeah. In the email, point number 4, that is having one, what you can say, access code. Just copy that access code. Point number 4, copy this code and paste there in this white box and submit. Redeem. Okay. So this is your courseware downstairs.
Yeah.
Okay. On top, DCACIA.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So Nicholas and Lodwin do the same process to get the courseware. So guys, let's take a break. Okay. And after that, we will continue with the lab activity. Okay. Guys, we'll meet in 15 minutes.
Okay, that's fine.